The release of neurotransmitters at synapses is a carefully orchestrated process that allows neurons to communicate with one another. It begins when an electrical signal, known as an action potential, travels down the axon of the presynaptic neuron and reaches the axon terminal. This electrical impulse triggers the opening of voltage-gated calcium channels in the membrane of the presynaptic terminal. As a result, calcium ions, Ca+, flood into the neuron. The influx of calcium ions causes synaptic vesicles, small membrane-bound sacs filled with neurotransmitter molecules, to move toward and fuse with the presynaptic membrane. This fusion is mediated by specialized proteins called snares. Once the vesicles fuse with the membrane, they release their neurotransmitter contents into the synaptic cleft, the narrow gap between the presynaptic and postsynaptic neurons. The released neurotransmitters then diffuse across the synaptic cleft and bind to specific receptors located on the membrane of the postsynaptic neuron. These receptors are often ligand-gated ion channels, or G-protein-coupled receptors. When neurotransmitters bind to these receptors, they induce a conformational change that either directly opens ion channels, in the case of ionotropic receptors, or activates intracellular signaling pathways, in the case of metabotropic receptors. The activation of postsynaptic receptors leads to changes in the postsynaptic neuron's membrane potential. If the changes are sufficient to reach the threshold, a new action potential may be generated, propagating the signal. The precise effect depends on the type of neurotransmitter and receptor involved. Some cause excitation, while others lead to inhibition of the postsynaptic neuron. After their action, neurotransmitters are typically removed from the synaptic cleft through reuptake into the presynaptic neuron. Enzymatic degradation or diffusion away from the synapse, ensuring that the signal is brief and tightly regulated. This entire process enables rapid and targeted communication within the nervous system,